Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. My name is Giovanna, and I am the founder of Flow State Financials. Our mission here at Flow State is to provide bookkeeping support for entrepreneurs and small businesses, as well as personal financial wellness education sessions for anyone looking to develop better money management habits. Today, I invite you to build my business with me, and I'll show you a behind the scenes look at my books. There are a lot of tutorials online showing you how to use different QuickBooks functions, but I thought it might be fun to bring you behind the scenes and show you how I am actually building my business. If you are interested in this type of content, please like, subscribe, and drop a comment letting me know what kinds of steps you would like to see me cover. I want to make this as helpful and interesting as possible and answer any QuickBooks or just general bookkeeping and accounting questions that you might have. In this video, I want to cover a little bit about the chart of accounts and then also walk you through how I'm going to sync my business credit card to QuickBooks. Okay, so let's dive into my books. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is log into my QuickBooks account. And I'll enter my password here and sign in. So this is how QuickBooks looks on the inside. And today I am going to sync my new business credit card. So to do that, I first want to add this credit card in my chart of accounts. And to access that, I will go here. And you can build out your chart of accounts to match your specific business. And it will contain all of your assets, liabilities, equity, and then all revenue and expense accounts. So now I want to add this new credit card. And I'll click New. And I am going to name this credit card and include the last four digits. That way, if I ever get additional business credit cards, I'll know how to distinguish them. For account type here, I'm going to select credit card. And then for detail type, you'll see that credit card is the only option in the dropdown. So this is a new credit card that I recently opened. So for opening balance, I'm going to put $0. And then for the as of date, I'm just going to list the first date of this calendar year. So for that, I will do January 1st, 2025. And I'm doing this just to start clean from the beginning of 2025. And for description, I'm going to note that this is my Capital One credit card. And I'll click Save. And before we sync the credit card, I want to add one more expense account here. So once again, I'm going to click New. And the expense account that I want to add is called Dues and Subscriptions. So I'll add that here. The account type is going to be Expenses. And for the detail type, I am going to select Dues and Subscriptions here as well. And from here, I'll click Save. And before we move on, I'll just quickly run through my chart of accounts. So I already linked up my bank checking account. You can see the credit card is added here. We have some other liability and equity options. And here are all of the expenses that I previously added. And as your business evolves, you can always add new accounts. Okay, so let's sync this credit card and bring in all transactions. To do that, I'm going to click Bank Transactions here. You can see that my checking account is already included here, and I'm going to click Link Account to add in my new credit card. And then we arrive to this page where we can choose our bank or credit card to link. And if you don't see yours automatically listed here, you can always search. So for example, I love Ally Bank, so I could just search it here and it will pop up. So my credit card is with Capital One, so I will go ahead and select that here. And then I will be asked to sign in to my account. So let's do that. A new page will appear where you can log in with your username and password. And I will go ahead and sign in here. Once we're logged in, we will see this page and I will click continue. And then I'll click continue here as well. So I have both a personal and business credit card with Capital One. So here I want to make sure that I am only selecting my business credit card. And let's click continue. And finally, I'm going to click authorize here, showing that I want my Spark Cash Select credit card to be synced with QuickBooks. So here I'm being asked to connect and to enter an account type. And I will click the drop down and select the credit card that I just added to my chart of accounts. And then you'll see here that QuickBooks will pull the transactions from this account as of January 1st, 2025. Let's click connect. And here it is bringing in all of the transactions. Okay, we're all set. And here you will see all transactions that I have charged to this business credit card. And from here, I'll be able to categorize these expenses. So let's start with this one, which is an investing platform that I subscribe to. If I click into it, you will see these options appear. To have better information for future reporting, I want to add in a payee here. So I'll click the drop down and add new. This will pop up and I can add in the company name. And this platform is called Female Invest. Since this is just a recurring credit card charge, this information isn't really important to me right now, so I'll go ahead and click Save. So let's select it here. Now I'm going to choose the account. And again, this is an expense. So I will click the drop down to choose my option. And this is where it becomes a business decision of how you like to categorize your transactions. So for example, two options could be dues and subscriptions or software expense. For me personally, I'm going to go with dues and subscriptions. For me, I like this category to include publications that I subscribe to. So perhaps any news platforms or professional organizations that you pay dues to. On the other hand, I think of software expense as more of the technical platforms that I need to use to run my business. So QuickBooks would be a great example, as well as Squarespace, where I host my website. So let's select dues and subscriptions. And from here, I'll click add. Now let's talk about this one. Rise Media is an agency that supports bookkeepers and accountants. And first, I want to add them as a vendor. And we'll add the info here. Again, since it's just a recurring credit card transaction, I will leave all of this blank for now. Let's click Save. And once again, I will select it from the dropdown. Let's take a look at the expenses. And again, this becomes a business decision of how you want to categorize your transactions. So this is a monthly subscription service, and technically I could categorize it as dues and subscriptions. However, I only use this for marketing purposes to help me build out content for my social media platforms. So instead, I'm actually going to select marketing and advertising. The reason I'm doing this is because I think it will help me pull better reports, and make better analyses as my business grows. So, for example, in a year or so, if I hire a direct content creator and that becomes more expensive, I'm going to want to do an analysis on how much I have been spending on my marketing and advertising efforts and how that correlates to any increases in revenue. So, categorizing it this way will just help give me a clearer picture of how much I am spending on my marketing purposes. And these are the types of discussions that you are welcome to have with your bookkeeper to help build out the most comprehensive and insightful financials possible. Okay, let's click Add. And as a final example, let's look at this one here. So this is my professional liability insurance provider. And you can see it is already included as a vendor, so I will leave this as is. Now, there are two things that I want to note here. I prepaid for this insurance policy for an entire year. So technically, this would be considered a prepaid expense, which is an asset on the balance sheet. And if I were to handle it this way, I would categorize this as a prepaid expense and then expense out little portions of this $272 over the next 12 months. I would definitely do this if this expense was, over $1,000 or so. However, because this amount is so small, a principle called materiality comes into play. To me, this dollar amount is so small that instead of spreading the expense across the whole year, I am okay with just marking it as a full expense right now. Again, this is definitely something that you can talk about with your bookkeeper or accountant. So I want to categorize this as an insurance expense. And you will see here that that is not currently an option in my chart of accounts. So let's go ahead and add a new account. This will pop up and we can add in our information. For account name, I am going to call this insurance. For account type, I am going to select expenses. And then for detail type, I am going to choose insurance as well. And let's click Save. So now you'll see that I have the vendor, the insurance account, and I will click Add. So hopefully this gives you a quick overview of how to sync your bank or credit card, and then how to categorize those transactions. And now I want to quickly show you how this shows up in your financial reports. So let's click Reports here. First, let's take a look at the profit and loss. Profit and loss includes your revenue minus your expenses to give you your total net income. So, since we categorize some of these transactions as expenses, they should appear in this report. And let's make sure that we update the dates to include our current date. And you'll see that now we have the dues and subscriptions and the insurance that we just categorized. And you can click in here for more information. And you'll see that this is the insurance expense that we just added from the credit card. Now let's look at the balance sheet. The balance sheet equation is assets equals liabilities plus equity. So here is where we will find all of our assets, liabilities, and equity accounts. So the bank account that I previously synced is an asset. However, the credit card is a liability. As I incur these expenses on a credit card, that liability account will grow because it's money that I do need to pay off. However, once I do make that credit card payment, that liability account will decrease, and my cash account or my banking account that I pull the money out of will decrease as well. So let's click into this credit card account for more information. And you will see here that it includes the three expenses that we just categorized. Of course, I have more to do, so once I add those, they will be included in this list as well. Now, the last thing I want to quickly touch on is the bank account. Let's click here for more information. So, I opened a business bank account and then I transferred $3,000 from my personal money into this account just to have a bit of funding to start the business with. And it is important to note that this money should be categorized as equity under owner's contributions. That is because it is money that I, as the owner, contributed to the business. So that increases my equity in the business. And if you have a business with one or more partners, it's going to be super important that you make it clear who adds money into the business and then who pulls money out. And you will see here that it's a deposit into the checking account and it's noted as owner's contributions. And if you look at the balance sheet again, you will notice owner's contributions is here. And if you click into it, you'll get more information. And you'll see here that it includes the $3,000 deposit that I put into the business. It also includes a journal entry here. Now, this includes all business expenses that I put on my personal credit card to help launch the business. Now, this is because this has been a long work in progress, and there are expenses that I incurred before I opened my business bank or credit card. So, to account for these, I list out all of the expenses, and then the total amount will be put into this equity account. So, this includes things like the website subscription fee, LLC filing fees, and things like that to get the business up and running. So, if you are starting a business and have incurred expenses on your personal card before you open up everything for your business, do make sure that you are keeping track of all of that and talking to your bookkeeper or accountant about it. That way, they can add a journal entry to make sure that everything is accounted for. Okay, all, I hope that was helpful in giving you a little glimpse of how QuickBooks works and some steps that you will need to take as you launch and grow your business. If this was helpful, please like and subscribe for more videos. And if there are any specific topics that you would like to see me cover, please drop a comment. I would love to hear from you. I really want to make this information as useful for as many people as possible. And if you are an entrepreneur or small business owner, keep up the good work, and I am always rooting you on. Our website is linked below, and if you need any support with your bookkeeping or monthly accounting, please reach out. I would love to hear from you and support in any way that I can. As always, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.